Tonight, the San Diego County District Attorney's Office is sharing details on their latest efforts to curb crime here.
The DA's office released its annual report highlighting prosecutions, crime prevention, and outreach in 2022.
District Attorney Stephan joining us today in the studio to walk us through a little bit about this report here.
Welcome. It's a 38-page report. There's a lot of content and information in there.
It's great to be with you, Marcella and Jesse. Well, I'm very excited to share this report because what it indicates is the fight to keep San Diego safe in every neighborhood. So across the report, you'll see that we were able to begin to catch up from the COVID closure of courts, on murders, on rapes, bringing justice to victims, being able to open a center that provides for safety for victims, fight against the fentanyl pandemic. So, I suggest everybody read the report if they're interested, but thank you for covering it.
What were some of the highlights that stood out to you from this report and the past year in your office?
Well, one of the things that I've been watching very carefully is the fentanyl epidemic, and it's taking so many young lives. In 2021, it took the lives of 12 children, the youngest being 13. 814 people died, which was a double and triple number from the year before. In 2022, we saw our efforts of taking 503 fentanyl dealers to court, prosecuting 2 cases as homicides. These are people that knew they were selling poison but continued to sell it. That those efforts with law enforcement were starting to pay off. We're seeing a leveling of the numbers. We're seeing 6 kids died instead of 12, one too many for those grieving parents, but it is still a picture heading in the right direction.
Successful prosecution of people dealing fentanyl and hopefully making other people thinking about doing that, stopping them.
That's exactly right. Accountability is important, and every dealer out there should know that we will bring the full measure of the law in order to stop this poison that is killing the community. Across the United States, it's the #1 killer of young people. 70,000 people across the U.S. lost their life to fentanyl. This is why we prioritized it here in San Diego. But of course, in addition, prevention, many educational programs to students, teachers, parents, those are also getting the word out and paying off.
Let's talk about safety a little bit for a county our size. You were saying that San Diegans are actually pretty safe.
We are considered one of the safest urban counties in America. For example, there was we follow the data and the statistics, but there was a book published comparing a bunch of the main urban cities. For example, Philadelphia, same size as the city of San Diego, 560 murders as opposed to 56 in the city of San Diego and 112 across the county of San Diego. Again, for me as DA, that's one too many, but comparatively speaking, it means that we are bringing the right measure of law enforcement, prosecution to protect the community.
What were some of the lowlights in that report, things that stood out to you that said, I'm not okay with this, we need to work on this?
One of the main lowlights is that we saw an increase in internet crimes against children and human trafficking that involves minors. This is a national trend. It is one of the most profitable industries, and with the fact that every kid has a phone, it allows the predators to come in easily. For parents, remember, they can pretend to be a like-aged teenager or young child. That's how they get into the chat rooms. So we are fighting back against that and bringing the information, the prevention back, but also bringing massive operations to recover our kids and make sure that they're safe.
And we encourage our viewers to go ahead and read the 38-page report on your website, San Diego County District Attorney's website. Before we go, we do want to talk about this the storm that's heading our way, Hurricane Hillary.
Yes.
A lot of times when we have natural disasters, the scammers come out.
Absolutely.
What do you want to warn people about?
Well, I want everybody to be safe and follow the directions, but make sure that if there is any damage, and I hope not, that you make sure that any contractor that comes out of the woodwork to shows up at your door to fix your damage, that they're licensed. Make sure that if you're contributing to a charity, that it is a registered, proper charity, and make sure that you are not being price gouged, because we also see that. If you suspect anything like that, go to SanDiegoDA.com. We have a whole consumer protection section, and we will fight to make it right for you.
We do see that a lot happening, and it's something that San Diegans might not be prepared for, considering a hurricane or a tropical storm for us here is not the norm.
No, not at all.
That's right, but we're hoping it'll pass.
Fingers crossed.
But we want to make sure that people don't get the after effects that we often see with disasters, which is the increase in scams and the increase in unlicensed contractors.
District Attorney Summer Stephan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Carlene?